Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
Yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that.
The person that's dealt with some people in the industry, I can personally tell you, most of them are bullshit. Most of them got something going on and they crazy, and they will have you. I'm talking about they'll have you crazy.
Yeah, you look professional, bro. You look real professional.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened. We down.
That mean I'm doing my job.
Hey. If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Breaking just moments ago, the June jobs report showing stronger than expected growth. The jobs market is still humming along. CNN's Matt Egan joining me now to break all of this down. You expected some of this, but this is better than expected?
Yeah, Sarah, it is. Look, this jobs market is like the Energizer Bunny. Every single time we expect it to run out of steam, it just keeps going and going. So these new numbers show that the U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs in June. That was well ahead of the expectation of about 118,000, well ahead of some whispers that we heard on Wall Street of a sub 100,000 number. So this is indeed beating expectations. We were also expecting a slowdown. We did not get that. This is basically in line with May, which was revised higher. It's also good news. The unemployment rate was expected to go up. It didn't. It went down to 4.1%. That is a very healthy number. This is still relatively historically low. And again, it's below the 4.3% that we had expected. When we look at the trend in the jobs market, you can see that things have slowed down from last year, but not in an alarming fashion, right? We did expect to have weaker numbers here in the last few months. And so really things are holding up a lot better than feared. The unemployment rate, again, it's nowhere near where it was a few years ago. It does remain, look at this, the unemployment rate, it's still hovering at very low levels. Now, digging into where the jobs are, we did see significant job gains for healthcare and social assistance, adding 59,000. Leisure and hospitality, that's bars, restaurants, 20,000. But there was job loss in two notable areas. Manufacturing, 7,000 jobs lost last month alone. That's the exact opposite of what the president wants with his high tariff strategy. The federal government losing 7,000, and that is, of course, a result of DOGE really taking an axe to the federal workforce. But still, big picture, when you put it all together, this is a lot better than expected, and it does suggest that this jobs market is holding up better than feared.
Yeah, barring the manufacturing, President Trump has something.
So yesterday I was talking about how Trump lost jobs, and then today basically his job report was good. He added a bunch of jobs, so I didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I put it out there basically to show that, you know, he did add jobs even though he lost jobs. Enzo, I know you said that you haven't been online, but what do you think about Trump's jobs report?
I mean, I think it's pretty great. It's right on par with what he was doing in his first term. When we were looking at the jobs lost last night, I brought it up to see compared to how he was doing about in his first term. In the same amount of time, from what I remember looking at it, he added 1.2 million jobs to the United States in his first term in the same amount of time, from January to July. January to June, sorry. Based off of the numbers that we just had, again, right last night we were sitting at, I think it's like 930,000 now with the updated numbers, if my math is correct. I mean, so we're not right at the 1.2 like he was then, but I'm still saying it's sitting at a pretty healthy number of jobs being added compared to what was projected, honestly. So I'm happy to see that.
Skeptic. So with Trump having a good jobs report, does that mean he's doing a good job, or is it just a fluke?
I mean, like, I look at the overall arc of people that have lost jobs. We see 106,000 Black women lost their jobs. I want to say since like April of 2025, over like 100,000 people lost their jobs because of tariffs. Boeing laid off 17,000 people. Whenever they had the whole steel tariffs being imposed, or they were going to do a steel tariff and then retracted on it, the whole thing that they did earlier this year. My brother works for Boeing, and then they still continued to lay people off. So I think maybe what they had projected may have been better now. Maybe that's what they're saying, but I know of a lot of people that worked for the federal government. We know that the federal government employs the majority of people here in America. And whenever DOGE was coming in and cutting funding, a lot of people lost their jobs. So I think it's an interesting report for sure. I need to look more into this because from everything that I've read, I know that a lot of Americans have become unemployed. There was an increase of 242,000 Americans that became unemployed from January. I want to say at that time that I had looked at the report, it was like May, maybe. So I think it's interesting. I need to go and do some more research on this because very interesting report to come out.
So Nora, the Fed is saying because of this jobs report that they're not going to be able to cut the rate. Trump very much wants them to cut the rate. And so actually him doing good has hurt him what he actually wants. So what do you think about the jobs report?
You just said he's doing good. If people are losing their jobs, it's from the record number high unemployment under Joe Biden. It's continuing on. I think you guys are forgetting that Donald Trump inherited Joe Biden's economy. Donald Trump inherited Joe Biden's unemployment rate. There are tons of people that were underemployed under Joe Biden. We're continuing to see that, unfortunately. I say we need to give it a full year before we can fully blame Donald Trump. We have a record low inflation, I should say, record high stock market. We need to give Trump credit where credit's due and blame Trump for when he needs to get blamed. But I can tell you, we are still seeing job losses from the horrendous last 4 years we had under Joe Biden. And I think people forget that.
Kamal, last night, Volker was saying that it's due to immigration, people getting deported. Do you think that's the reason why the job losses, and that's why people lost a lot of jobs?
I mean, it could be. I mean, people getting deported and the jobs getting lost over there. But I think it's kind of like a misconstrued with the numbers, though. You feel me? Because a lot more people are underemployed, believe it or not. You feel me? People are working 2 or 3 jobs. You feel me? So that do look good. Like, damn, a lot of people got jobs out here. You feel me? But not somebody working 2 or 3 jobs. They underemployed. You feel me? Or, they take all them jobs and leave other people unemployed. So I think that's what's really happening. And yeah, Trump gonna be pissed about this because he want them rates cut. He was talking about firing Will Powell or whatever. So now it's kind of like, it's kind of like, oh man, I can't fire you now because I did this on myself. It's like, so it's kind of going against his old plan and shit like that. And I ain't gonna lie, I want the rates cut. God damn it, I want to refinance my home and shit. You feel me? So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's good people getting jobs, but is the people really getting the jobs that they really want? It's like you getting 2 jobs that each paying you $5.35. It's like, bruh. So that's just how I'm seeing it right now.
Can I say something that's kind of funny? Like, I don't know if people understand this, but like when you look at the power of the dollar, if the feds are to lower interest rates, it would bring down the purchasing power of the dollar. And we already know that because of tariffs and because of these the allies that we had that we broke trade agreements with because of Trump, the foreign countries have a meeting where they're going to conclude whether or not the dollar should still be used as the global currency. If we lose the dollar being used as the global currency, not only would we lose purchasing power through that form, but if then we lower the interest rate, I think the feds are very smart and not wanting to lower interest rates because it would potentially put us in an even more vulnerable position as America.
For sure. Well, I was looking. We've been talking about Diddy a lot, but one person who beat a case or case got dropped is JayZ, and I was looking for a video to talk about this, and guess who popped up in my news feed?
Tony Busby versus JayZ, case dismissed. What really happened? So, a major courtroom update. A California judge just tossed out JayZ's lawsuit against Houston power attorney Tony Busby, and the drama is far from over. Earlier this year, JayZ filed a bombshell lawsuit against Busby, claiming the high-profile attorney tried to extort him for millions of dollars. At the heart of the case, Busby allegedly demanded money in exchange for not going public with claims tied to the Diddy trafficking investigation, in which Busby represents multiple alleged victims. They feel that this is a shakedown attempt, plain and simple, according to JayZ's legal team. But just today, Judge Mark Epstein ruled that none of JayZ's claims hold up in court. Extortion, denied. Defamation, denied. Why? Because under California law, lawyers are allowed to send demand letters, even in aggressive tones, or as part of protected legal action. According to California Code Civil Procedure 425.16, aka the anti-SLAPP law, basically the court said Busby was acting within his legal rights when he contacted JayZ's team, and that his comments in the press didn't rise to the level of defamation. But here's where it gets interesting. Judge Epstein admitted he wasn't completely comfortable with the ruling. He said, certain things I'd like to consider, I'm not allowed to under current rules. So the court dismissed the case, but left the door open for appeal. And Tony Busby didn't hold back after the ruling. He said, this is a huge win. And now we're going after attorney's fees. We'll be asking for a lot of money from JayZ's lawyers. So here's where it stands now. JayZ plans to appeal the decision and will ask the appellate court to review the claims. Busby is filing for fees for trying to force JayZ to pay big for what he calls a frivolous lawsuit. And all of this is happening while Busby is still representing multiple.
All right, I got to hear Nora mouth enough. So, Kamal, did you know about the JayZ situation?
Yeah, didn't JayZ actually send like a cease and desist or some shit to Busby, and he kind of
and to be clear, this isn't a win for JayZ. This was a win for Busby. Basically, he was trying to say Busby was extorting him, but he's not. He was sending him demands. So I'm not gonna say what I do, but I deal with litigation at my job, and pretty much you're allowed to send a demand. That's how you negotiate. That's how you get the conversation going. So this was a win for JayZ. I mean, not JayZ. This was a win for Tony Busby and his victims and the people he's representing. This was an L for JayZ, actually.
Damn. Didn't know that. I knew, like, okay, so when was it when JayZ responded? Wasn't it like 2 months ago? Yeah, it was like 2 months ago. So this is the latest from when like JayZ responded. Okay. Yeah, this don't look good for JayZ, but hey.
Zach's in the comments said he used unalive at the barbershop. This happens to me all the time when I use TikTok language in the real world, and people look at me like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry."
Hilarious.
He complaining about the TikTok stuff. So Enzo, I know you said that you don't like Diddy because of Biggie. So are you a JayZ fan?
I never really was a big fan of JayZ. I mean, he's got some hits. I mean, like the Blueprint was good. With the shit he did with Justin Timberlake, that whole album, that was good. Holy Grail, all that. But I just never. There was something always about him. I don't know what it was. He's just weird. So like when I heard about this a couple months ago, and I go, bro, they just take it down everybody at this point. He connected to Diddy. They do all types of crazy weird shit. I'm gonna say they're guilty by association at that point when it comes to them. Like, I don't know why, but I just have a feeling. So, we'll see.
I don't know if you got on any of the Diddy conversation. So do you think Diddy and JayZ are guilty?
I think that Diddy had a lot to do with I used to be a big fan of her, like I don't know how to pronounce her name, Aaliyah. I think that he had to do with that unaliving, and also I think that he paid some people off to unalive, other rappers. So I've never really been a big fan of Diddy. I like JayZ because of his backstory. I used to be a Kanye fan, and the way he did Kanye West to me was very, like, the way they kind of looked down on Kanye because he was kind of weird or whatever. I mean, I just feel like he became kind of elitist, kind of. And so I don't necessarily see him as he cares for the community per se, so not really a big JayZ fan or a P. Diddy fan.
Wait a minute.
Also, fun fact, did you know that JayZ and R. Kelly had an album out together?
Yeah, it was fire, actually. It was actually pretty good.
That's all I'm going to say.
Now, I'm an R. Kelly fan, and let me tell you, I go back and forth with this because I grew up on R. Kelly. So, I have a problem with, separating the artist from, the person. Because, yeah.
Wait a minute, Skepta, I want to ask you, so you think Diddy has something to do with Aaliyah plane crashing?
Yeah, I really do. I've gone down that, I don't know. Have you guys not, heard the theories of what people have said before? Because... Yeah, they said JayZ and P. Diddy were real close to her, and then she was very young when she had first came into the industry, and they were guiding her through, and they say maybe she was gonna out them or something. I don't know. I just feel like the way she was unalive is very fishy to me, but I was a fan of hers.
Well, maybe they did it to take her out for R. Kelly because they were very close with R. Kelly. I can tell you for a fact, JayZ and R. Kelly are extremely close. And then all of a sudden, he didn't want to talk to her.
And I heard that
Dame Dash too. That was Dame Dash's girlfriend, Aaliyah, and JayZ got with her, and Dame Dash was mad that JayZ got with her.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, for my channel, I'm gonna say allegedly of all this shit. For my channel's sake.
Say allegedly.
Allegedly for all channels. I don't think.
Nope.
I don't know. I don't want to go against Skeptic, but I think JayZ did have something to do with that. I got to give Skeptic. I don't know about Diddy though. Diddy, you already got enough bodies on you, man. I don't need to add another one for you.
I feel have y'all heard the stories of how he was burning down that one rapper's car? I feel like Diddy's got that in him. And he Jason Lee said he met him one time and he went and hugged him and told him, "Don't ever talk about me," in a very threatening way. I believe that Diddy is
I ain't gonna lie.
I tell you what, Diddy might have something to do with Wendy Williams too, though, because she was going hard at him.
You think Diddy has something to do with Wendy Williams too?
And
God
JayZ.
damn.
And used to talk about Beyonce and JayZ. Yeah.
For sure.
God damn.
Well, we do have a team member missing today, and so she kept talking about this story, so I'll put it out there. I guess there's a lot of trash in Philly right now.
Right now, negotiations are set to continue today as thousands of Philadelphia workers remain on strike for a third day. Talks between District Council 33 leaders and the city fell apart again overnight. So the mountains of trash just continue to pile up on the streets this morning as sanitation workers remain off the job. Take a look at this massive amount of garbage that Chopper 6 found along Devereaux Avenue near Langdon Street in the Northeast. This is not a designated drop-off site, but it's kind of become a thing. People taking their garbage out there, and it is going to be a massive job to clean up. Look at how far that stretches. Action News reporter Corey Davis joins us now live from a sanitation center in Southwest Philadelphia with the very latest. And Corey, these temperatures and humidity only making the stench worse.
Yeah, Tam, a lot of people are dealing with that across the city, and the picketers right now continuing to strike. They're further down 63rd Street where it's quiet at the moment, and over here is where residents are, where they have dropped off their trash at the designated sites here, the 63rd Street Sanitation Center. These employees here, the ones who are not part of the union, are the ones who are emptying these bins that are continuing to be filled. So after a tense couple of days, city leaders are continuing to remind the picketers to protest peacefully and to allow access to facilities just like this one. Today, the situation is more calm at the 63rd Street Sanitation Center in Southwest Philadelphia on the third day of the District Council 33 strike. But yesterday, law enforcement responded after workers on strike reportedly blocked other city employees from entering. This happened after a judge ordered picketers not to block access to buildings or facilities. The city solicitor says law enforcement is trying to monitor protests across the city.
They are running around the city dealing with protesters who've been asked to move along, and they go right back. And this is putting a strain.
So it's basically a lot of trash in Philly, and they're going on strike. So I'll play her response, and then we'll all respond.
Okay, Democrats, I'm fucking confused. This specifically, that mayor, Sherelle in Philly, makes $261,000 a year. She just gave herself a 9% raise and everybody in her office a 9% raise. And last time I checked, a cornerstone of policy for Democrats is taking care of the little guy, taking care of the middle class, and taking care of the unions. So how the fuck is a Democratic mayoral candidate here, mayor of a massive city, anti-union, and then to boot refuses to do a simple cost of living adjustment for the literal union that the sanitation workers fall under, that literally keep this city clean. Philly already has an issue with being a dirty city, but the simple fact is like the people that literally keep the city clean and functioning, this Democratic mayor views as unnecessary, and now she essentially wants to make all of the citizens of Philly scabs? Like, that's fucked up. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Somebody needs to explain to me in the comments, because I literally cannot wrap my mind around somebody who ran on being for the little guy, being for the middle class, being for the person, being union supportive, and like, this is what you fucking do? I'm confused. Somebody drop a comment and like try to explain this.
Skeptic, as the Democrat on the call, can you explain it to her?
I don't know. I actually had not even heard about this. There's so much stuff going on. I had not heard anything about the mayor in Philly, but it sounds like they're not funding the sanitation services correctly, which would be a problem with the mayor of that city. So, I mean, if they're not doing that, they should vote them out. Like, this should be something that should be pretty, like, it should be an issue. And, you know, the people that live there shouldn't vote for someone who is not going to take care of the city.
Nor you shaking your head and you putting them suck. So
Listen, let me explain something to you. Black people, this is why, and I can tell you this because shout out to my son's father. He's from Philadelphia. When I went to visit him, we drove through Philly. He said, this is what Democrats did to my city. 50 years of voting in Democrats has destroyed Philadelphia. You're seeing it. I don't even need to really say anything more. That you're seeing it play out. This is why Black people, you need to unmarry yourself from the Democratic Party. I'm not saying you got to be Republican, but open your eyes, expand your horizon, make them work for your vote. Stop giving it to them automatically, because Philadelphia is what happens. That's all I'm going to say.
Why does it specifically black people though? Just
because Philadelphia is a black city primarily. So I mean, this is just showing you why they should. And Kamal is apolitical, but Kamal will probably tell you I'm not saying anything incorrect.
Kamal, is she saying anything incorrect?
Nah, not really. You feel me? It's fucked up out there in Oakland too, my hometown. Ran by Shane Tao with her weak ass. Asian mayor up there getting indicted for embezzlement, all types of other shit. You feel me? But she is a Democrat. Y'all, man, we need to ask a real question, man. Where the hell is Will Smith? Where's Meek Mills? What's up, man?
Oh, because they're from Philly?
Yeah,
Amber Rose. Where's Amber Rose?
Where's Amber Rose?
But I feel like politically speaking, though, Republicans are the ones that are trying to cut down on federal spending, and they're the ones that are asking for smaller government. So if a candidate is doing a bad job and they're of the Democratic Party, I feel like you should just hold them accountable. I don't necessarily think that it's like Democrats destroying a city, because you can look at red areas that are poor or impoverished.
We're not gonna do that. Democrats been running Philly for 50
the people
years.
that live there, they don't
They've been running that shit for
they don't
50
blame
years.
Republican mayors or governors when they're doing a bad job and their towns are not doing well.
Enzo, what's your thoughts?
I mean, Philly is disgusting. I live right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like 30 minutes from Philly. So, I mean, the only thing that came out of Philly is the Eagles, fly birds. This is a public health crisis in Philly right now. No one's talking about that. Let's talk about all the diseases from the garbage sitting there, all the animals getting into it, all the rats, everything like that. Philly is disgusting. There are rats there. It is just like New York, guys. Just because you don't see them as much doesn't mean they're not there. So that's what we really need to be focusing on, is getting these union workers paid, because at the end of the day, no one's going to fuck with the union. If you ain't going to pay them, they ain't going to work. Straight up. Stop trying to fuck with them. Just give them what they want so they can get back to doing their job to make everybody else's life better. That's all I got to say about that. Regardless if it's blue, red, purple, orange, whoever is in office there, give the union what they want.
What I've been seeing all over TikTok is ICE agents getting beat up by Haitians, and I thought it was wild. It was more footage like of people fighting each other and more like close fighting. And I'm seeing like people talk on TikTok and saying, "Oh, Haitians, they're the only country that revolted against slavery and took over." So basically like that Haitians aren't going to take this land down. Nora, I know you're Jamaican, but you know a lot of Haitians and stuff like that.
Hold up. I think I'm being discriminated against tonight. I'm reading the chat. He put blood clot. Let's clarify. Y'all FBA want to delineate. We're going to delineate. Jamaicans and Haitians are not the same thing. I'm going to have to delineate tonight. I'm joking. But in all seriousness, get these jokers out of here. This is further proving why Donald Trump and immigration has to happen. I don't see no Americans doing that. I only see the Haitians doing that. That's all I got to say. Get them out of here. Let's go. Alligator, Alcatraz. Here we go.
Kamal, as the FBA, do you feel like the Haitians, they're the people that revolted? Do you feel like they're going to be hard to put down?
I feel kind of offended. They the only ones fought against slavery. They
rebelled
on our ass and just let shit happen. Do you know it? The Civil War, the Union came to us and was like, "Hey man, the Confederates is whooping our ass, man. We need some help." And we fought for our freedom. I'm just saying, they weren't the only one fighting against slavery. I'm just saying, bro. You feel me?
Sure.
Yeah, but what the Haitians got going on with ICE, I'm gonna do what a lot more people need to do on the motherfucking internet that be on these panels and shit like that. I have no opinion. I'm gonna mind my goddamn business.
For sure. So Enzo, Trump is supposed to be sending 200 Marines to Florida next. I wonder if it's for this. Do you feel like seeing videos like this, military intervention is necessary?
No, not just the video, just the Haitians in New York. You're gonna need the military to calm them down. That's all I'm gonna say. Anybody in New York, anything goes down and everybody uproars, it doesn't matter what your background is, everybody gonna be out there and it's gonna turn violent if that keeps going on and other people start figuring it out. You'll see everybody out there. So I mean, the military might need to get involved with that shit. It's gonna be wild out there, especially in Brooklyn.
For sure. Skeptic, I'm gonna come to you first because I want to play this video and get your reaction.
Breaking news. Julio Chavez Jr. has just been arrested by Price and sent back to Mexico.
The hatred. Musty energy.
This is musty at the highest level. The man just got done fighting Jake Paul, who Jake Paul is a pump order, respectfully. Now, was this a setup? It's a deeper, darker criminal link.
Talk about Murder Inc. That just establishes a darker, deeper criminal link.
The man just got done squabbling Jake Paul in a fight that looked kind of kooky. And now the man is sent back to Mexico with alleged cartel ties. This is crazy. What's going on out here? You know, two-tone superstar, I love my Mexican people. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. This is the Mexican Atlanta. Down here in Phoenix, Arizona. I love my Mexicans. I don't agree with people getting arrested at graduations, funerals. Man, let them people come down here and whatever they want to do. It ain't bothering me. Respectfully. But this is nasty at the highest level, man. This is nasty at the highest level. Chavez Jr. arrested fresh off of fighting.
So, Skeptic, Jake Paul is a Republican. So is it fair that Julio was able to come over here and box, be entertainment, and make money, and then get sent back? Now, they do say he has ties to the Sinaloa cartel, but I mean, literally, this was like a big event, and then he gets arrested by ICE agents. So,
well, the interesting part is that we brought 17 family members of the Sinaloa cartel that are related to a Chapo Guzman. Trump literally did that. So it's interesting that now having ties to the Chapo Guzman family or Sinaloa cartel is a big deal when we literally walk them into our country. And I did want to say this before I go into like the whole Jose Chavez. John Jacques, he led the Haitian army and defeated Napoleon Bonaparte in 1803. That's a big deal. Like, people don't talk about that. The fact that Haiti they got their independence in 1804. Like, yeah, you're going to need more than the military. This is about to go down. If you're coming into, I don't know if if you've ever met Haitians or you've been in the, community, because we have friends that are Haitian, and it's going to go down. I want to see it because it's not going to be as easy as they think. It's one thing to come into like go chasing Latinos, Mexicans at construction sites. It's going to be different to go into the Haiti community and think that you're going to walk in there and walk out with a willing participant. But anyways, when it comes to the Chavez, I think that my dad was a professional athlete. You don't even like take care of any of that stuff. Whoever is handling you takes care of your visa. They take care of your traveling. My dad used to vacation in America, like whenever he felt like it. He never even knew his like status because that was always taken care of. So I don't know what his where his agent is at, why they don't know his, why he was even able to be arrested. I think that my people to Mexicans boycott this country. Don't come over here for the World Cup. Don't send your people out here because it's not safe. That's what I'm telling everyone. It's not safe. Don't send your athletes. Don't make money for America because America hates your guts. They want to put you in alligator Alcatraz. They literally see us as a tool to use us. We're entertainment for them. Putting us with alligators is entertainment for them, So I think it's interesting. I wouldn't have came. I would have boycotted this country because they don't care about us. They're just using us.
So the big question is, are the Americans next?
Decision by the Supreme Court 4 days ago. The disastrous decision by the Supreme Court 4 days ago that allows flatly odious and unconstitutional order on birthright.
This is misinformation. That's why it's doubling down. You see that? Donald Trump doesn't approve this message. Play the sound, please. Play Donald Trump saying he doesn't approve it.
Madness.
I don't know. This is just misinformation tonight, man.
Nope. Fake news. It's all fake news.
Fake
I'm gonna say
news.
this to the person in the comments, Can, that's saying that if Haiti is so great, why aren't they in Haiti fixing their economy or whatever you just said? If you know history, which you probably don't, because they whooped the ass of the people that were oppressing them, they literally made them pay them reparations, and that's why the same thing as Puerto Rico.
The disastrous decision by the
Let me say this too, to also in defense of Haiti. I'm joking with you guys. To be clear, Haiti was the first in the Western Hemisphere to get to end slavery. So let's clarify that that is true. However, we need to give reverence to the FBA brothers and sisters that fought in the Civil War because they did help the North win beat the South.
Hold on. I gotta go out of this. I don't know where it's playing at.
I think, than this
Yeah, it's not me.
question who's a citizen.
Oh my god.
Misinfo just wants to spread.
Misinfo. Why don't you? Oh no, you can't. Can you leave? Okay.
Can I leave?
Maybe leave and come back because I'm able to when I'm hosting. Well, anyways, let me continue on what I'm saying. So also to give some history about Haiti, do y'all know that the reason why Haiti is so effed up is because of France and the United States? I want to say that too in all seriousness. Now, where the current state is at, I can't blame America solely. However, that is why I do think we need to have a hand in trying to make it better to some extent. However, if these people come here, they don't follow the law, they don't abide with immigration, they gotta go. I mean, but I want to give backstory too to what I'm about to say when it comes to that.
Sorry, that was crazy. I clicked play and then it played, and that was insane. All right, but here we go.
The disastrous decision by the Supreme Court 4 days ago that allows the Trump administration to begin implementing a flatly odious and unconstitutional order on birthright citizenship. Well, today, the administration announced it will begin deporting people subject to that order as soon as July 27th. It's madness, but it is madness with a method, which is to deconstruct the foundational concept of what it is to be an American, a concept created in this country's second founding by the 14th Amendment and the victory of the Union, the Civil War. A belief that we are all Americans across all lines of difference, from race to religion to creed. They hate that. They're trying to destroy it. Sherilyn Ifill is the founding director of the 14th Amendment Center for Law and Democracy at Howard University. She was previously president and director counsel for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She has a new...
All right, enough of that. There's too many complications with that. We talked about that. But the big thing that he was going to say is that Trump said he's going to deport criminals, American criminals, overseas. Enzo, do you agree with that? Like, if you're a criminal, should you be deported?
Hell yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. If you're a criminal, you have a deportation order, get out of our country. Shouldn't be here. And to wherever they send them, if the crime fits, I got no problem with it. But if it's like some petty little crime, man, I don't agree with sending it to Sudan. But if it's like some heinous shit that they don't even want you in your country, like what Venezuela was doing, denying these people going back to their country for 10-day Aragua, and that's why we sent them to El Salvador, hell yeah, send them over there. Because they don't want them in their country. Why should we allow them to be here?
So, Kamal, they basically keep saying that FBA is next. Is FBA next on Trump's deportation list?
So what year did we supposedly came over here? Because, I mean, they keep saying we only came from boats, but, you know, some of us already here. But what was the year? It was 1619, right? What we celebrating tomorrow? The inception of America, 1776, July 4th. So with that being said, when America was created, who was here? Us.
Black people, for sure. Well, yeah.
So they gonna deport me back to Oakland? The fuck? They're gonna deport my lady back to Chicago or something? We gotta start making this make sense. And then think about it, man. There was a lot of other immigrants that came from European countries that came over after America was created. What happens to them? Are they gonna get fucking deported? I mean, I'm confused. When people say this shit about us getting deported, you gotta hit them with the numbers and the stats and stuff like that. It's like, start with the scare tactic trying to get us into all these damn fights. Man, leave us alone. And if we want to get into the fights and fight for people and stuff, we will. But at this point, leave us alone. That's a bullshit scare tactic. We can't get deported. What? It don't make no goddamn sense.
So, Nora, you always screaming about how your uncle deserved to get deported, and he said, yeah, I deserved it. So when he got deported, did he actually have to go do time, or was his punishment getting deported?
Yeah, so my uncle got arrested. He committed several crimes. I'm not going to reveal on camera what they were. But long story short, he was detained in one of the worst ICE facilities in the United States. It was hot. There were roaches. It was extremely hot. I believe it was either I forget. It's like somewhere in South Florida. I don't remember the name of the town. So I was a little girl at the time. Anyways, we'd visit him. We'd sit outside. They didn't even have a facility for us to sit inside to visit him. We're visiting him in 95-degree weather. It was a terrible situation. But no one wanted to be under. But he broke the law. He broke the law. He didn't do the right thing, and he needed to go. He wasn't a citizen of the United States. So again, to this day, we talk about it, and he says, I deserve to get deported. He admits he did something wrong. I don't know why this is a hard concept. You don't follow the law. You don't follow ICE's regulations. Bye-bye. Like, it's that simple. But again, however, the situation talking about the Americas and the things that the United States has done to destabilize some of those countries, it is a very convoluted situation. It's not clear cut. We can't say, oh, there's no fault on us, and say or they're fleeing their countries and crap like that people say, when the reality is this country, everybody fled and came here. Everybody was brought here in some way, shape, or form. Everybody was brought here some way, shape, or form. And I think we forget that. But again, this is scare tactics. I'm going to say it again. This is scare tactics. And I don't think we should feed into it and spread misinformation, because you know what this does? This allows us to overlook the conversation of accountability for the actual immigrants that are, let me say, illegals, undocumented, whatever the term is, makes you feel good at night. This is scare tactics to avoid accountability for them. And in turn, we should all be scared, because then we delegitimize the conversation of them being compliant with the United States government and ICE.
Skeptic, do you feel there's a lot of ICE raids happening? There's a lot of stuff happening. Do you feel like some Americans are going to be accidentally deported? Do you think American criminals should be deported?
So the clip that you were talking about is literally Trump. I have the clip posted on my TikTok. I watched the clip that's going viral that everyone's talking about. Trump, while he was at Alligator Alcatraz, did an interview, and they asked him a question, and he said, yeah, why are we building Alligator Alcatraz to keep immigrants there? We're trying to deport them back to their countries. Under the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the only form of slavery that you can still have are those that are in the criminal system. You can literally make them work for little to no money. So we still have slavery in America. It just has to be criminals. So after that, he answered that question. He said, and there's a lot of people that are here in America that are bad people that we need to get out. These are Americans he's talking about. His verbiage went from talking about immigrants to switching over to these people that are in America, that have been in America for a long time. Keep these dog whistles in your ear, okay? What is he talking about? Who are these people he's talking about? Then he tells you who he's talking about. He gives you 3 different cases that happened in New York, because he's from New York, right? A man who hit a woman over the head with a bat, a man who threw another man into the subway, and there's another one that I forget. I went in and I looked at these cases. All of the offenders, can you guess what color they were? They weren't white. Mass incarceration affects the Black community more than any other community. We know this. So now he has switched over from talking about deporting these immigrants to talking about we need to get these people out that have been in America for a long time. So my question is, who is he talking about? That's what everyone's like wondering. Who is he talking about? Who do we need to get out that have been in America? Literally Trump's words. They've been in America for a long time. So that's the question that we're posing.
And just so you know, my uncle that got deported was here from the age of 14 years old. He was deported at 29 years old. So again, people love to say, oh, they're coming here as children, blah, blah, blah. But if you break the law and you don't do something right, and you're not a citizen, you got to go. Even if you're here from a child. I want to put that out there. And we still support it to this day.
Doc says you betrayed your uncle in the chat.
Hey,
Send you an
I can
op.
bring my uncle on here anytime, and he will tell you the same conversation. He deserved to go. My father says the same thing. We all say the same thing. He broke the law. He had to go. My father's a United States citizen, so he followed the law. He did the right thing, and he got to become a citizen. It's life.
Well, let's get to the main topic.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hold on. I gotta say something. Doc, you wild. Look at what he said. Trump would deport Jesus. He said he's from the Middle East.
He would. He would.
I'm done.
Somebody in the chat asked a good question though for Nora. They asked, why did it take so long for your uncle to do his papers?
Because I'll be honest with you, my family was very connected in Morocco. He felt he was above the law, and because it doesn't apply here in the United States. And this is my issue that I have with a lot of these illegal people. They think they're above the law. They think they're supreme to the law. They don't think they have to comply. They get a letter to come to court. What do they need to go to court for? Nobody's going to do anything to them. Under Joe Biden, nobody did anything. So that's the answer. I'll be honest with you. He thought he was above the law. Simple as that.
For sure. Well, Trump's big, ugly, beautiful bill has passed. So let's see what people have to say about it.
Done. The president's signature piece of legislation, the big, beautiful bill, has just passed the United States House of Representatives. The final vote, 218 to 214. All the yes votes came from Republicans. All the no votes were from Democrats. Plus 2 Republicans also voted no. Representatives Thomas Massie from Kentucky and Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania. After months of negotiations and wrangling and back and forth between the House and the Senate, this vote was the final legislative step. It does not need any more votes. Now, the only thing left is for President Trump to sign this bill into law, which he says will happen tomorrow on the 4th of July. Look, I know there are a lot of you who have a lot of questions about what this bill is all about and what it does. Now, I have lots of videos about lots of different things that will impact you because of this bill. Keep in mind, the Senate version is the version that is going to become the law, not the House version. So what the House passed in early June is irrelevant. We are only talking about the Senate version, which has the extension of the 2017 Trump tax cuts, almost $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and to the Affordable Care Act, which is way more than the House version. It has almost $300 billion in cuts to SNAP benefits, hundreds of billions of dollars in new money for the military, for Trump's Golden Dome, for immigration enforcement, and for the Department of Justice to prosecute and deport migrants. It also has a $5 trillion increase to the debt ceiling. Now, I have a video about the tax provisions and how they will impact you, especially as it relates to President Trump's promise of no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, and also what it means if you have Social Security and you're over the age of 65. Keep in mind, those things are only going to be temporary. They will only last until 2028. I also did a video about how and when the Medicaid and Affordable Care Act cuts are going to start kicking in for you. So definitely check those videos out. Now, you should also know that this is not the last reconciliation bill we are probably going to see. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune have both said that they are going to start working on the next reconciliation bill to continue to push Trump's agenda forward. Once again, with zero input from Democrats.
Nora, you were the first person to tell me that it passed, so I know you've been following this. What do you think about it passing?
I don't know. Like me were talking about this today, and the fact that it passed by 2 votes to me is a red flag. It's a lot in it. The only thing I like about it personally is the amount of money we're putting towards immigration enforcement. So thank you. This is what I voted for. Bye. They gotta go. Bye. It's that simple. That's my only thing I like.
Enzo, do you feel like it's a win that it passed?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a win. I'm happy for it. And like I said last night, I would prefer single issue bills altogether. But then again, with looking at what's in the bill, I'm happy with the border. Obviously, that was my biggest thing. Happy with more money being spent to the Department of Defense too. I mean, they have enough money, but hey, cool, more money, more technology. And then I was really looking into what's being cut from Medicare and everything like that. Weren't the Democrats screaming that immigrants don't get federal benefits? Because once you really start looking into it, it says right here, the losers are low-income Americans, Medicaid recipients, immigrants, elite universities, and those relying on student loan forgiveness. I've seen immigrants, right? So I started to dig a little bit more. right here, how immigrants would lose from this bill. Dramatic expansion to enforcement and deportations. We all know that. High barriers and costs for humanitarian protections. We knew that already. Tax on readmittance. We knew that already. And then right here, loss of access to federal benefits. The bill restricts access to healthcare, nutrition, SNAP, and the tax credits for non-citizens. So what happened to all of that? And then I did a little bit more, and I wanted to see how much Medicaid was funded by the states compared to the federal government. 40% of it's funded by the states, where only 60% comes from the government. So for us to sit here and say that immigrants are not getting Medicaid, they're not getting food stamps, they're not getting all of these programs, is absolutely
And so
fucking
immigrants been
wild.
getting it. What their thing is, they're saying
I know.
illegals are not getting
Yeah,
it. That's what they're
undocumented
saying.
immigrants.
But we know illegals get it. And so you live in New York City. You saw all the illegals that was getting stuff.
Oh,
So,
I know. That's why I'm happy with the cuts that are being made in this bill. They want to say 17 million people are having their benefits cut because they're able-bodied people and they refuse to work. I want to see how many immigrants get their fucking benefits cut now after reading all this, and I'm happy that these cuts are happening now. Sorry to say it.
Kamal, you're apolitical. Independents have been the biggest disapproval of this bill. So how do you feel about the bill?
Some shit in there that's cool, and then some shit in there that I'm like ain't really feeling. For the low income people, that's the only thing I'm not feeling, man. Medicaid, man, the Medicare, they really need that. The low income, you feel me? The immigrants and the illegal immigrants getting Medicaid and Medicare, hell to the fuck no. Hell no. They taking from the resources. I don't like that shit. But for low income, yeah, most definitely they need, Medicare and Medicaid, you know what I mean? More on defense. I mean, shit, this is America. They've been putting in defense for Democrats, Republicans, they all put in defense. You better just hope you somehow either got some stocks and shit that's in defense, or you working with companies that deal with these contracts. Always, it don't matter who it's gonna be. There's always gonna be more spending when it comes to defense than anything else. It's like we talk about this all the goddamn time, and it's like at some point we just gotta realize like they gonna keep spending on goddamn defense. You feel me? But like I said, the only thing that I really see, and it's like what Enzo said, it's a lot in this bill. So it's still some stuff in there that I'm like, we ain't gonna know till a couple weeks from now what's still in this bill and stuff like that. So with that being said, the only thing I could pinpoint that I'm like kind of like about is the Medicaid and Medicare for low income like families and people with low income. You know what I mean?
Skeptic, does this hurt Republicans in the midterms since it's so unpopular?
Oh yeah, this is going to hurt them because, and I'll tell you why. So we've never claimed that immigrants were not receiving welfare. It was undocumented immigrants, the ones that don't have documentation. The same way that those 50 people that were brought from South Africa in a charter plane, remember those people? Yeah, we provided them welfare. We provided them cell phones. We provided them a way to clothe themselves. That's the welfare that immigrants, those are the type of immigrants that are receiving welfare. So I wanted to say, this bill is going to negatively affect. I've read the 948 pages for the BB and also or BBO. Chris also did. He also read it, and it's going to negatively affect red states because it's putting the responsibility of funding certain programs that used to be funded through the federal program, like the federal government, on states. So these poor red states that are conservative Republicans are going to lose funding for their the people that live there. So these blue states, the people that keep on saying send all the immigrants to the blue states, they're already doing well. Go look up the economy for sanctuary cities. All the states that have sanctuary cities in them pay more federal taxes than they take in, and that's a fact. So they're not going to be hurting. The people that are going to be hurting are going to be those red states that are so hateful that they voted against their own self. They defunded themselves because at the end of it, as long as they're hurting someone else, that benefits them. That is enough for them. So I'm clapping for them too. I'm happy that they won't have food stamps anymore. I'm happy that they're going to lose Medicare, because another thing about it is, culturally speaking, minorities, like I'm Latina, our people, we take care of our people. If we see someone in need, we're going to help you out. There's churches, we come together, we take care of our old people. So we're going to be okay. We haven't been relying on welfare for the longest time. A lot of us can't even get welfare. So we know how to survive. The people that don't know how to survive are those conservatives that are clapping like seals, and it hasn't even hit them yet. So yeah, I'm also glad. I kept telling people what was in the bill. They didn't go and read it. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't even read the bill, and she voted yes for it. So, you know, I'm good.
She can't read, though.
I mean, we'll all agree on that. I don't like her to begin with either.
If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Now, it's a lot of stuff in the bill. It's a lot of stuff by the NRA and a lot of stuff about other things, but it seemed like everybody said healthcare. And that's why I picked this clip, because everybody is basically focused on what healthcare is in the bill. Oh, let me remove one of these videos. It won't let me do more than 10. All right, here we go.
At Speaker Johnson's office, where right now the House Doctors Caucus has staged a protest.
And these community health care center closes, they have to remember there are people who work in those institutions, and they're generally the largest employers wherever they are located. That will drive down local economies, as well as putting those people who work there off of insurance.
If 20% of rural hospitals are going to close, if you're having an emergency, where are you going to go?
There are two large safety net hospitals in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area who have told me very directly that they may have to close their doors if this bill passes.
If your father is having a heart attack, what are you going to do?
Now we're just undermining everything the ACA has done. It is our job to protect people, not to decimate their bottom line. And the economic impacts of the energy costs, the loss of jobs, the deficit that we're riddling our children with, and the loss of educational opportunities. This is not just about healthcare. This is about our entire economic infrastructure.
So, Kamal, you said you care about the low-income people. Do you also feel like people are going to lose life or not get a proper health care because of this?
I mean, the healthcare system already fucked up out here in America. And this, like, what skeptics said, yeah, it's going to hurt the red states for sure. You saw that were all Democrats that was all there. They were doctors, right?
Yeah.
Those are doctors. All of them was Democrat. Not one Republican. We already know in Democratic areas, certain areas, the healthcare system is bullshit. It ain't popping like that. So who is it going to affect? Yeah, people in the red states, they're going to be fucked over. But it seemed like I didn't see not one Republican doctor saying like, hey, this is going to mess up something, blah, blah, blah. That's why sometimes this shit be looking like propaganda. That was so weird. It was nothing but Democrats. It was nothing but Democrats. But we for sure know that the red states is going to get effed over the most because most of them is on Medicare and Medicaid. I'll tell you right now, the top country that got the most people on fucking Medicaid and Medicare is somewhere in Kentucky. 98% white, 99% of them is on Medicare and Medicaid. It's a red state, red city. Like, I don't know. Shit, that looked weird. I don't know about y'all. That looked weird to me looking at that clip. For real.
So Enzo, for me, it seems like MAGA's willing to stick by Trump no matter what. So everybody saying it's going to affect the red states. Do you think those people are really going to care? They're going to say, you know what, we loyal to Trump, we don't care.
I don't think it's going to be, oh, we're just loyal to Trump, we don't care. I mean, if it affects people in red states that, like I said before, that are too lazy to work or volunteer 80 hours a month to get your benefits, then good. You should be taken off those. You absolutely should. I don't care if it's red, blue, purple, whatever it is. If you can't meet the requirements, you don't need it. So it can go to somebody else who needs it. So I really don't care whatever state it is or anything like that. And I'm going to touch on what Kamal was saying. Yeah, that looked like straight up propaganda because you don't see any Republicans talking about it. You don't see any Republican doctors talking about it online. This is just fear-mongering at its best. And I'm going to keep saying it until I see otherwise, until I start seeing people just drop dead because of all this going on, that they're not going to have Medicare, so many people are going to lose their benefits. So many people are going to unalive because of all this and all that. Until I start seeing it, I don't give a shit is what's said from the Democratic side.
Nora, you put in the chat that it's fear mongering. So you're saying that no one's going to lose health care
I'll
behind
say
this?
this, the positive things that I saw was more immigration judges. We need to get these people out of here. By getting these people out of here, we're going to reduce our debt because we're going to have less these immigrants, illegals, whatever, on welfare, number one. Number two, we have an increase on the child tax credit. That benefits American children. So that's a win for me. Number three, there's going to be cap on graduate loans, which in turn is going to reduce debt, reduce student loans, reduce things like that. We got to look at the positives of the bill. And for me, it's a lot of fear mongering. Yeah. So I want to talk about the positives. Now, I don't agree with reducing Medicare and Medicaid to an extent. Are we reducing Medicare? I don't agree with, because Medicare is people that are sick and the older people. Medicaid, that's a conversation for another day. But I don't want them touching Medicare because those are genuinely sick people, genuinely old people, especially older people that have paid into the system all their lives. Medicaid, again, that's another conversation. I've never qualified for Medicaid. I've had children and mouths to feed. I made $30,000. I didn't qualify making that. So I really don't care personally, but I do sympathize. I mean, but for the most part, I don't know anyone that qualifies. They make too much money.
Skeptic, you were saying that it's good that the rural and the red states are going to suffer. But
So
with some of these people, I feel like they just see what's on the news and they hear immigrant is taking my job. The government is tricking me. People are stealing from me. So I feel like if you're told that over and over and over again, you're not going to care about simple things that may affect you. So, like, do you feel like they deserve for their health care to be taken because they made that decision?
see, like the empath in me like feels bad and goes back and forth with it, but I'm gonna tell you what they're doing. And I'm gonna say this, and I've said this to everyone who listens to my live. While the bill goes through the House, right? It was 948 pages, and it goes through the Senate, and they did the whole voting on it and doing amendments and changing certain provisions of the law. It will not be exactly the same. However, I don't think that they had enough time to make huge changes on the cuts that they wanted to do. So the cuts may not be as extensive, or they may be more than what we originally thought, because amendments have been made. Like, that is what they were voting on. That is what was happening when they were going back and forth. There was amendments being made right then and there. Now, from the Senate to the House, I don't think there was hardly any time. But from the House to the Senate, there was a lot. There was more time, right? So we don't know exactly what implementations are going to come out of this. However, we do know that some cuts will be applied and applicable, right, in the next decade. So some of the things that they had said prior to it leaving the Senate was changing the hours of able-bodied people. So certain things are right. Like, I want to say that it's Medicaid basically overall helps older people. They changed the working requirements for that. Like, how are you going to make older people work more? Now, here's the smart thing that they did. So instead of, if you're part-time, you're working 25 hours, right? If you're full-time, you're working 40 hours. So the provision that they added was that you have to work at least 35 hours to qualify. So you're not a part-time worker, but you're not a full-time worker either. So tell me what employer is going to give you 35 hours a week? Like, please explain that to me, because we're purposely trying to cut people off of these programs that they literally need. I want to say that the majority of people that were on, it's either Medicaid, I don't know which one is the one that serves children, were children, people under the age of 18. So, like, how are we changing provisions for people who literally cannot even work? We're going to kick people off that need these programs to literally survive. They're sick. They need their medications. Like, what are we going to say to those people? Those that didn't vote, the people that were not involved, that didn't care about this. I don't have to see a dead person to care. Like, that's the difference between me and someone who is a conservative. I don't have to see a dead person to start caring. I care before we get to that point. And another thing, my husband works in the green energy sector. The Elon Musk thing is true. And I heard Trump say he doesn't like the windmills. He doesn't like the solar panels. Okay. We're going to go back to coal, which is only 40% viable for energy. Natural gas is better if you want to talk about a resource that is, not that bad for the environment and doesn't pollute our world. Or you can go to the nuclear power, but there's a lot of regulations on, building a nuclear power plant. So We're going back to coal. I mean, it's outrageous. The things that this administration is doing literally come from incompetence and lack of understanding. And it's wild that we're saying, I have to see a dead American before I care about defunding them. Like, that's a wild statement to make.
We do care about dead Americans.
We're gonna go to our thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trump said he go deport Elon Musk. But Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
So, like I always say, it was a great episode. I'm happy with the wins that Donald Trump's administration keeps racking up. It's been a week of win, like he said, and I'm kind of tired of winning right now. Kind of need some bad news because I need content on TikTok, and no Democrat is bringing it other than just insults. So Donald Trump, if you're hearing this with any which way possible, man, can tone it down for like a week. Give me some shit to go off of, please. But the big beautiful bill, I'm happy with it. All I was gonna say to Skeptic before, that at this point, that's what I would need to see coming from the Democratic Party. I'm sorry to say it, because it's just been fear mongering and bullshit from the left for 4 years and never panned out. So let's really see what happens this time.
Nora, what's your final thoughts?
I'm going to finish saying what I'm saying. It's funny to hear Democrats or people on the left say that conservatives don't care about dead Americans, when the whole reason why we're pushing for immigration reform is for the thousands of dead Americans that have been raped, robbed, killed, set on fire. The list is endless. So, but it's funny. You say we don't care. I care. This is why I'm pushing this. Number one. Number two, guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. We have a big show coming next week. Next Thursday night, we have a super panel between FBA and pro-immigrant Blacks. So that's going to be a very interesting conversation. Also, Friday, we are going to be live streaming from Turning Point USA. We will be getting some footage talking to the Unfuck America tour. Can't wait to be enlightened. Also, hopefully, I'll be able to get some big interviews. Fingers crossed, I'll be able to get backstage. So I'm looking forward to that. So please give us a subscription as we bring you in real life content.
For sure. Kamal, what's your final thoughts?
What's good with the chat, man? Y'all's in there funny as hell. Once again, shout out to everybody on the panel. Enzo, Skepta, Nora, Gray. Appreciate y'all. Y'all go check out the new party. I got it pinned to my channel at the top of the chat. So y'all go subscribe and most definitely hit that notification bell so y'all know when they go live. You feel me? They were covering the Diddy shit like a motherfucker. Loved it. They was on it. Shit, they went to the trial and everything. So yeah, y'all hit that notification bell. Also hit that notification bell for my channel, Kamal Johnson Network. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the big beautiful BBL bill, some shit in there is cool. I'm cool with some of it, not so much. More the low income not getting Medicare and Medicaid is kind of like, nah, I ain't with that. But making sure illegal immigrants ain't getting our goddamn resources, hey, I'm all for that. You feel me? Especially when they tell us they ain't got no motherfucking money for resources for us foundational Black Americans. They always tell us they broke when it comes to our issues. I'm tired of that shit. All right. But yeah, man, Trump has been winning. I'm more concerned about Elon Musk at this point. Is he gonna shut down Twitter? Like, is these subsidies gonna be cut out? Damn, like I'm concerned about, bruh. Well, not really. He a damn apartheid having mother. You know what?
For sure. Skeptic, what's your final thoughts?
Let's not let hate win. Like, stay human, man. Stay human. When we start cheering for alligators, there's a problem. So, I don't know where Bewanda and Bernard, I didn't see them today. So, yeah, thank you to the chat. You guys are funny. You always keep me laughing. And next Thursday, FBA versus non-FBA is going to be lit. I'm very excited because some of my friends are going to be there and I'm excited to hear. It's going to be very lively. So I'm very excited. I'm going to try and advertise it on TikTok. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of people tune in. And like I always say, don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights.
My bad.
Hold on, Skepta, is Buwana your homie?
No, I don't know him, but he just makes me laugh in the chat.
But
really
Juana came
Stephanie,
from
I'll let you do
Kelly
your
that night.
your sprays again. My bad. Go ahead.
Don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, but Juana funny. I think he hit me up. He was like, oh, I'm not gonna be on the chat today. I gotta go eat this new coyote meat. It's a new brand.
For sure. It's always great when I host because I know how to like get it going. So thank you guys for showing up. Everyone on the cast have a wonderful Independence Day. I think I should be like some media fireworks in here or something like that. Kamal, I don't know if you have it on there, but yeah. So you guys have a great holiday. I like that we can talk about everything. We're getting deep into these topics, and I learned a lot every single time from everybody. Everybody teaches me something. We do this Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Check back in with us, like you heard Nora and Skeptic say. We're going to keep bringing like different types of content and things that we know people want to see. And like we always show on the New Party, always vote. You guys have a good night.